What is up, everybody? My name is Starside Viper, and today I'm going to be telling you guys everything that you need to know about patch 1.13, otherwise known as the Highlife update for GTA 5. First off, there are 5 new properties that you can buy. All of these are in buildings that were already there, so there aren't any new buildings, but there's a new apartment in Eclipse Towers for $500,000, Tinsel Towers for $492,000, Richard's Majestic for $484,000, Integrity Way for $476,000, and Del Perro Heights for $468,000. Now, from what I've been hearing, Tinsel Towers is probably your best bet for a new property. I picked Richard's Majestic, and as you guys will see, there's a big building in the way, so all you get to see is a nice, lovely highway and a giant building that you can spy on your neighbors out of your telescope with. Next up, there's a new mental state system that has been implemented in the game. This new feature is pretty much going to be telling you who is and who isn't a total douchebag in GTA Online. That may sound mean, but that pretty much is it. Anybody who ever just drives up to you and decides to kill you for no good reason, their white dot will slowly start to turn red, and the more insane that they go, the more red their dot is going to be. So for people who always go out and kill everybody, their dot is going to be completely red, which used to signify a bounty. So now what they've done is a bounty is signified by a red skull instead of a red dot, which is pretty cool. And I like that Rockstar is now starting to change some of the little things that were annoying in GTA Online. Next up is the new non-contact races, which is pretty much just ghost racing if you've ever played any racing game before. Friend Spectate, which I always thought was actually a feature, but apparently I was wrong. I don't know, I always thought that I was able to spectate one of my friend's games before, but apparently now it's an actual thing. And also some new celebrations, which include jazz hands, face palm, slow clap, the back slap, and also the handshake. Now getting into the more extensive part of the patch, there are 4 new vehicles, which include the Pegassi Zentorno for $725,000, the Dubashi Massacro for $275,000, the Enos Huntley S for $195,000, and the Dinka Thrust for $75,000. And I have to say that I did buy 3 of these vehicles, and they are really nothing to write home about. I've heard that some people have said that the Dinka Thrust is possibly the fastest car in the game. I don't think that's true, because the Thrust was really lackluster in the corners, and I always ended up just wiping out and hitting a wall and then dying. But the Zentorno is a really good car. I would say that out of the Turismo R and the Zentorno, I would pick a Zentorno. It does look better. It looks a lot like an Aventador, which was a car that I thought really looked sleek and, vicious compared to the car that the Turismo was based off of. Next up is some new outfits that came out. There are no new clothes. Everything is just a preset outfit that you can buy. But it is nice. You can just run up and pick a nice outfit, and it only takes about 30 seconds, and then you're out of there. And they're fairly cheap compared to buying everything separately. Also, there's a new weapon called the Bullpup Rifle, which isn't that great. I would say that it's just a silenced version of the special carbine that came out last update. Going back to the vehicles, there are 10 new single-player vehicles that can now be purchased in multiplayer. All 10 of these vehicles did spawn in the world, and most of them were simian vehicles. A couple other ones were sports cars that in single player had retractable roofs that you could use, but in multiplayer they didn't have them, so they put them in there. And also they added 8 new horn sounds in the Los Santos customs. Next up, there are 12 new missions that you can pick from, 8 of them being contact missions and 4 of them being races. And lastly, just a couple of patch notes that I found interesting. The insurance glitch, which apparently was patched last update but wasn't actually patched because people were still losing their cars. Apparently that got fixed again. I still wouldn't trust putting a car in your first slot. I still lost my Sultan, and I still can't get that thing back, which was my first car, and I'm very sad. They also spawn players closer to the road if you die in the military base, which was something that probably should have been patched way long ago, but I am glad that it finally got patched, because spawning in that swamp 16 times trying to get a jet was the most annoying thing, because you had to wait 5 minutes to call your mechanic to bring your car back again. So you always had to run back to the road, and it was just an all-out mission to try and get back into the military base just to die and do it all over again. So I'm very glad that they did that. There were some exploits that people were doing in the creator mode and the capture mode. Apparently that was the reason why this update was pushed back a couple of weeks, which I don't think was actually the reason, but whatever makes them happy. They also fixed exploits where players would show up invisible, players would be invincible, players could buy things for $0, and also players could get inside of other people's garages and use weapons. Now this is not everything that came out and was fixed with this update, so I'm going to put all of the patch notes down in the description for you to check out. And apparently this weekend there's going to be a Highlife weekend club event starting this Friday, which gives you a bunch of in-game bonuses. They didn't really go into explaining what those in-game bonuses are, but it'll be something like double RP and double cash payouts and all that good stuff. So play this weekend, and I hope that you guys did enjoy, and stay skills, everybody.